This conference will now be recorded.
So how is everyone doing this fine hump day?
You heard my spiel this already.
Yeah, and I'm a little off my game right now. I'm extremely tired. The last few days I've been working a lot, um, and it's just catching up to me.
Mm.
So I'm not my usual bubbly self today.
Ha, could have fooled me.
Yeah, same. Sorry, I started a couple minutes late. My stomach's angry at me. But hi,
Hi.
Hey Abby, how are you?
I'm thriving. What do you? No, it's fine.
We all are thriving, sweetheart,
Yeah, look,
in our own way.
I
In
just
our own.
moved, by the way. This is. Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. It's been rough. So sorry if I look sick. I am, but it's my new room.
You're
nice.
fine.
Okay, you apologized 3 times and you really don't have anything to apologize for. So,
I appreciate that. I felt bad because I was like a couple minutes late last time too.
It's all good. We,
Girl,
we have a we have a buffer. We understand.
I just wanted to make sure you were on here tonight. So, because we did text earlier. So I just wanted to make sure you came in because I know you need the camaraderie of support.
Yeah, for sure. I've just been like, you know. So that's why I texted late.
So, but
Abby,
anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get.
I'm nosy. Where are you?
I'm in Indiana.
Oh,
Over
okay.
here.
Oh, you Midwest folk.
I live next door to Regina. That was a joke.
Really?
But we're close. It's same state.
Oh my
A lot
goodness.
closer than I live to anyone. I'm down in Florida.
Actually, me and Regina are in the same apartment. She's just in the other room.
Good humor. I
Both of
love
y'all are lucky.
it. Keep going.
I like it. Should be here all
Yes,
week.
I'm telling you, I needed that humor all week.
Yeah.
Oh, because classes started at
Huh?
college.
Yes, they started back in August.
So are you teaching as well, Regina?
No, but I work at a university.
What do you do?
I am, unfortunately, I am administrative assistant trying to get out of that role because I have immaculate skills that they just look over.
Mm.
And I have been trying to become an advisor for the last year, a few years, because I'm a patient advocate. I have a master's. I almost have two masters, and they seem to want to look
You're
over
way
all of that.
overqualified for the admin assistant job.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
Like, and I would think with all the I mean, maybe it's not true in Indiana, but here in New York, we have increasing number of students with health issues that need kind of, you know, more more specific advising, or advising that understands the nature of their
Mhm.
experience.
They
um
need that where I work at, and I think people don't look at those kinds of things here in our state. That's how
That's an
I met.
interesting twist on it, though, Regina.
That's how I met Abby.
oh,
Yeah, she works at the college I used to go to, and my advisor was like one of like it wasn't that's not why I got paired with her, but she was also like chronically ill, and that's like the only thing that got me through. But they're not that kind to their students and not their employees either. I've learned, like as far as like chronically ill students and staff, they're cruel. So I know what Regina means.
no, it's
And have you considered approaching it from that angle as a advisor for chronically ill patients? I'm sure there's a
I In
plenty of
fact,
them.
I spoke with HR yesterday, and I threw it at them yesterday. I
What was
said,
their
you,
reaction?
you all need people like me in advising positions, because there are students who
Yes.
are out here looking for this type of assistance. And in fact, my job did a story on me.
Oh,
That's how that's
Yeah.
no, that's how I met Abby. My job did a, we won't say where I work at, but
okay.
um, my job did a story on me a month ago, and that's how I met Abby, and she reached out to me via that story.
Wow.
And she is not even at the university anymore. So,
Wow.
and by us working in a public sector, we're public employees.
Okay.
That story hit the public market, and that's how she found me.
Oh, wow.
What was really amazing is that she said when she was looking for someone or looking for something, um, that she could only come across my name, and my name was the only name that you could find in the Midwest,
Wow.
looking for sarcoidosis awareness.
Wow.
And I was shocked. I mean, which is kind of a scary thought when you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you hope there'd be more support in a lot of different areas. We're just starting to get support from like the research community
Yeah.
with medical trials and stuff like that. I haven't been really keeping up with it for the past few months. I've been crazy busy, but yeah, I see it coming across my news feed and stuff like that. That there's some promising things going on.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
They've
but it's been
started.
20 years of fighting to get it.
So, um,
Go
And,
ahead, Kim.
for the state of Indiana, there's not very many people in the state of Indiana that knows diddly do about sarcoidosis. I travel to Cleveland for my care.
okay. It's-
So, and that's why I decided to, when Abby reached out to me, I decided to take her up under my wing and try to give her the support that I can give her. And I know she's been very, very busy. So I'm just waiting on her to reach out to me, when she needs that support, when she needs someone to talk to her, she needs that support. I have that listening ear. So she knows that I'm out here. So I don't pressure anybody. I don't push anybody. And lo and behold, let me tell you this. When I talked to the lady in HR yesterday, Lord knows I know they need me, because the lady in the HR told me her husband was just recently diagnosed, and she said, I need to speak with you. And they all know I wrote a book. I
Wait. Plug.
I was gonna say, I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at. I gotta. Where's this book?
Oh, you bought it?
I did, of course. You can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
It's called "To Hell with Sarcoidosis and Other Illnesses."
Okay. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, it came up on the last call, and I'm like, "No, you make that public service announcement, girl.
Oh, heck yeah.
I
Okay.
want you doing that. I'm on Amazon." Wait.
Oh, you're a poet. Oh, I
Okay.
should have known. Of course.
And I thank you. I have sold 23 copies already, and I just published my book on the. It's only been out, what, about 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks,
Almost a
yeah,
month. About
yeah.
3 weeks.
Actually, I got it on the 9th of August. Is when I ordered it.
Okay, so
We were on the
it's
support
been
group
out a
call.
month.
It's been out a month.
Yeah.
That's good.
Huh?
So is that your retirement plan?
So let me ask Kevin and Abby. I know this is so. What are your thoughts?
I looked through it. I'll be honest. I have not done any of the exercises because I've been
It's
working
working.
like, oh, there's
Yes, there.
work. Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
It's
Okay.
actually a notebook with a few poems in it.
Yeah, I write poetry.
So there's an excerpt of a poem about a specific thing, and then you can write your thoughts about it. So it's about just coming to terms with what happened and how it doesn't define you, and what are the good things in your life. And, just it's a good mental process to go through is what it looked like.
Okay.
That's exactly
I'll
what
have
it
more
is.
feedback next month because we're gonna have our house on the market, and I'm gonna take like 2 weeks off and just take care of myself.
I know that's right.
But I have some interesting news I'd like to share, or great news I'd like to share, that I've tapered off all my medications.
What? Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. So
Wow.
the last two to go were metoprolol, which was for my heart. So I have cardiac sarcoidosis,
Uh-huh.
and a pacemaker defibrillator, and they really like the metoprolol. It's a beta blocker, which
Mhm.
prevents your heart from getting too excited or too calm.
I'm
It just
also on
slows it.
metoprolol, but not for sarcoidosis.
And for me, the side effects were really bad. So I cut it in half about 6 months ago, and had an agreement with my doctor that everything's good, we could get off of it. And then she turned around and did a 180 and like, why do you want to get off of it? I'm like, we talked about this. And so she kind of cautioned me against it, but we'll see how it goes. And it's been a month and a half, and that went well. And then the final one to go was my Cellcept, because they basically said it's in complete remission, and whatever you're doing, which is exercise and eating really well, and you know taking it easy, which I kind of failed in the last couple of months, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, it's so for the past 2 weeks I get up in the morning, I'm only taking supplements.
Good for you. That's
I feel
amazing.
I feel really really good about that.
Wow.
Now, the last one to go was the disease modifying agent, which is supposed to tamp down your immune system, but um, I've been symptom free, and my heart's been doing well, and my fatigue is all but gone. So I decided it was worth the risk. And I had the ICD. Like, if anything bad happens, it's going to happen in my heart, and I'll know about it immediately.
Yeah.
So we could just do a reset and get back on something, and if it comes to that. But for now, I'm enjoying not taking medicine on a regular basis. So it's possible.
All right. Your
I
next
had
birth.
14 medications 2 years ago, and most of them were to counter the side effects of prednisone and the side effects of all the medications I was taking to counteract the side effects of prednisone.
So, yeah.
So it's been a 3-year journey since the motor vehicle accident.
Wow.
And that was the only
Well, I'm
time,
happy for that.
as long as I can remember, that I've ever had a flare up with this that was that bad. So I know it's there, and I know it's a risk, and I just need to be present and keep doing what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Living my best life.
I had a Tai Chi session with a friend of mine, and
Nice.
the teacher wasn't there. She's visiting her family in Singapore. So we played one of the videos, a recording of one of my earlier sessions when I was on like massive prednisone. And I was like,
Oh,
oh. So I did a double screenshot to show me in 2020 because my face was like, I was like, okay, I
no.
think my face is puffy now, but it's not that bad.
No, you look great.
No, it was wild.
I I don't know why when I was taking prednisone, I lost weight. Well,
No.
I know why. I radically changed my diet and did an elimination diet where I was eating nothing but like super whole, healthy, organic food, and then slowly added back and said, nope, that doesn't work, and I kind of zeroed in on what works for me.
So did
But
you take so you're so you so did what did you discover were your triggers? I know they're different for everybody, but in terms of your elimination diet and
oh, gluten for sure.
okay.
So any kind of American-made wheat is really inflammatory for me.
Okay.
Um, Milk, so I got rid of the milk proteins. Um, and for me, the biggest thing was like eating a lot of anti-inflammatory food.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of berries. I eat a lot of uh, eggs. So organic, free range eggs. The yolks are orange. I never knew
Yes,
eggs
they
were
are.
orange.
Yeah.
The good ones are. And so my diet for the past 78 days, because we decided when we were flipping the house, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Um, 3 eggs at noon, followed by berries and nuts. And then I'll have a little bit of cheese
Hmm.
with some, sliced turkey, just like a roll up.
Yeah.
And then I have this concoction I call a smoothie, which is carrots and beets and all the food that I don't have time to cook or don't really enjoy eating. I just put it into a smoothie and blend it up with some berries and protein powder, and it's a liquid meal replacement. And that's what I've been eating now.
Look, Regina's like, nope, I'm not. So, uh,
It the flavor varies depending on what I pick up at the grocery store that week, but in general, the flavor is like not why I do it. I don't eat it. I don't drink that because I like it. I drink that because it's like my fountain of youth. Because it's
Wait,
all the
Kevin,
foods
I
that
have
I
a
don't eat
question.
on a regular basis. I'm sorry, Gabby.
As I have a question
Yes.
about since you went off your meds, you mentioned that you take supplements. My I never ended up starting to take the methotrexate because blood work came back and my immune system's tanked. But anyway, so I bought these three, and I'll take from any of you your experiences: black seed oil, omega 3, and I3C. My mom has arthritis, so
mhm.
these are the ones. There's that's black
And are
seed.
you feeling arthritic effects of your sarcoidosis?
Yeah, well, but first I thought it was just because I'm getting old, but like my knuckles are like
Excuse
huge.
me?
I'm like, girl, you can't say that.
I always said, oh, it went downhill at around 25, and then it turns out now I just had sarcoidosis.
There you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
go. Your best years are ahead of you. Trust me.
So do anti-inflammatory supplements help or no? Do you guys think it's like not that helpful?
Um, I anything you can do. So it's a balance. Anti-inflammatory foods. If you want to like get an understanding of what that is, there's an anti-inflammatory protocol (AIP), and they give you a list of foods to eat. And all these foods have anti-inflammatory properties. And then the flip side is avoiding inflammatory foods. So anything that you open up in a wrapper, it's going to have preservatives and salt and other things that you don't want in your body. I'm sorry, Regina. I know, but that's my Bible, not yours. Food is medicine.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you this: the food I eat is not the cheapest food in the supermarket.
Mhm.
It's from the edges, the produce,
Yeah,
a
on
lot
the
of
outside.
produce. Along the back, you've got your eggs and your cottage cheese or whatever and then meats. I do a lot of protein, but that works for me. Everyone's a little different. So Other inflammatory molecules are things like alcohol is extremely inflammatory. I know a lot of sarcoid patients will stop drinking. I did for when I had my flare up. I stopped for like 6 months, and I think that kind of helped settle things down. And then I was really anxious for like when I could start drinking again. And I drink now. I have a few drinks a day. Um, so so I can drink. Maybe that's the lesson, but it's really finding out your body and what levers you can identify. Have you ever tried fasting, Abby?
There we go. I well, I have in the past before I even was diagnosed, but like lately I just haven't had an appetite. I lost 22 pounds in like a few months. Like
Okay.
things just keep getting worse. So
So fasting might be a normal state if you're not feeling well and being hungry.
yeah,
Uh,
like I don't know, like at the end of the day, like dinner and have like some crackers and then go to bed. I just don't feel well. And it's been so stressful.
Um, None of my business, but my I started seeing an acupuncturist because I was barely able to move in terms of the fatigue and whatnot, and she said, um, "You're not eating enough." She said, you're not eating enough to kind of fuel yourself through the day." And I thought, I don't have any appetite, and that's, I'm historically a fat person, so you
Listen
know
to your body.
good
Yeah.
for me. But I did. She's like, okay, every 3 hours, just something, you know, handful of walnuts, a block of cheese, something protein rich, and it did make a difference. And now of course I can't stop eating, but
And you're not just feeding your body, you're also feeding your brain,
yeah, there's that.
right? If so, when I fast, I have a practice intermittent fasting.
I would say it sounds like I was going to ask if you were doing intermittent fasting because that's what it sounded like.
That's my default state, and then every 3 or 4 weeks, I'll mix it up and start eating breakfast. Just to be, has diminishing returns as you just continue the same. Your body adapts,
Yeah,
and what you're trying to do is stress your body into a direction that you want it to go. So, but with intermittent fasting, you spend an extended period of time not eating,
yeah,
mostly water. And while you're doing that, your body has a chance to rest and regenerate and take out the trash and kind of replenish. And then when you eat, if you're eating well, good food for you, then you know you'll have enough energy. Your body stores it; it will release it when you need it. Um, One of the hacks that I came across over the years is your brain loves fat. Your brain runs on fat. Um, and a good complement of fat for your brain is ghee butter or just regular butter and coconut oil or MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride. You can buy these in a health store or even your supermarket now. And I put it in my coffee. So my coffee gives me a hit of caffeine to wake up, and the oils don't break your fast. So you're still fasting, but it satiates any hunger you might have, and it feeds your brain, and it makes your skin really soft. And that is something that I've been doing fairly regularly for probably the better part of 10 years now. Every morning, butter and coconut oil or some combination of that. And it's
Harriet Tubman used to take butter in her coffee.
who?
Harriet Tubman,
I
the
recognize the name, but I couldn't
she's
tell
the
you.
uh, abolitionist. She
Oh
rescued
wow,
people
okay, way
from
back.
slavery.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman?
Huh?
Are you talking about Harriet Tubman? Sorry, I was looking at like
Sorry,
this
no, that's
something.
you look.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Harriet Tubman, the historical
Oh,
figure.
she
Harriet
was a
Tubman.
badass. Sorry.
I just have
That's
I
fun.
just finished a quilt about her, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
all up in Harriet Tubman. But yeah, she, that was one of the things I read about her, is that she would have coffee with butter in the morning.
Oh, and it's really, really good. It
I
is
you know I
really.
was I'm like, okay, well, Harriet, maybe I'll try it.
Abby, I
Early
want to hear
teacher in that.
about your journey this last past month. What's been up with you besides
Uh,
not eating?
Nothing good. It was been stressful, like mentally snapped. I have bipolar disorder, so like I have that on top of this, and so they trigger each other. I just like I don't know. I feel sick. That's why I like kind of look dead because I haven't been adjusting well at all, and then I never got to take treatment because what is it called? Immunoglobulin A or B, and they're like, oh, your immune system's tanked. We need to hold off on this because it's a respiratory, like this specific protein makes you susceptible to respiratory infections.
Oh,
So they're like, halt that. We're gonna do more tests, just whatever. But you said fats. That's what omega-3 is, right? This one?
Omega 3 is fats. Yes.
is
Does
that
that help? Does that fit into what you were talking about? I'll take
I,
supplements, but I don't even want to get out of bed, let alone make a meal.
mm,
But you probably, before you even start like supplements and different things like that, you need to consult with your physician first.
I did. They all were like, yeah, whatever. Like you said, the doctors where we are, they're not all that like familiar, and so like they're just like, oh, let me run it, see if it interacts with any of your other medications. No, it doesn't. Great, you can take it, and that's it. They never even emailed me back about folic acid because they wanted me on MTX, but I was like, shouldn't I have folic acid? And they just ghosted. Like these doctors makes you just want to give up. So whatever, I don't even care anymore.
keep on fighting. You're worth it.
Oh, when I ran out to get the book Regina, when you asked for our thoughts, there was one called, I was looking for it, Contemplation, where you think like, do I want to see my mom? Do I want to play with my grandkids and finish my degree, or do I just want to die? And I was like, that's what I've been dealing with, and I was like, preach. And then I kept reading, and then one that came after that was I Choose. It was like I choose life, and I was like, oh, I haven't
Yep.
gotten there yet. So that was my thoughts for that.
That's the second part of that piece. That's
Yeah.
in the second half of the book.
And what you just said there, Abby, I choose life. That's powerful on multiple levels, primarily the language, right? So I know when I was sick, I had a lot of really negative self speak, self talk. I'm telling myself I'm sick, I'm never going to get better. And that becomes your reality. And when you say, I choose life, you're saying something completely different and you're changing the messaging. And if you can um, stay positive, think positive, things will become more positive.
See, I'm thinking about someone looked at my book for me a couple of weeks ago, and they actually said I need to do a class on it.
yeah.
A class
Mm.
at the university?
I'm not doing anything at the university.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Take an
maybe
online
skip
class.
that because you
Yes,
can
they said I
find
need to
something so
do
much
an
better.
online class on it
Yeah.
and break it down into two parts and have a
Mm.
and said I can get paid for it if I did it, do a class on it. I'm like, but
Go
I would like
through FSR.
I thought about it, but it
Get a
is
grant.
a lot of
You
people
know how
have
many
looked at
people you
it
could
and
help
said
with
it's
that?
a powerful book, huh?
Yeah. Get a grant from FSR to conduct these classes.
Yeah.
Help them. I truly believe that if you brought your perspective in an interactive environment and went through basically the structure of that book, that people will come out the other side in a much better place and headspace than when they went in.
Would your class be on specifically sarcoidosis, or like grieving and then coming to terms and then healing with any chronic illness?
I would start with sarcoidosis because that's your experience,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
that's the first bowling pin. Now you can then branch it out and make it more general with any chronic condition because you go through the same thing. There's a,
Yes.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I was in my flare up, and I had a regular counselor. We met every week, and he literally saved my life. Um, he was telling me, now I lost my train of thought. Maybe my sarcoidosis is not completely in remission. um, oh, ambiguous loss was what we
Yeah.
landed on, right? All of a sudden, you're like, I know I lost something. I can't put my finger on it. Like I look in the mirror and I look the same, but I'm not the same person. Like, what did I lose? And you don't even realize that you lost it until some point, but your mind is processing it, and it's just something to wrap your head around and get, okay, you have to grieve. I was grieving that future that I was living into, where I was, playing golf and, boating and doing all these fun things out in the sun, and at that point in time, I couldn't even go out if it was over 80 degrees because my body just couldn't handle the heat. So there was a real grieving I had to go through, and I don't know. Maybe that's what helped set me in a better position to be where I am now, which is actually golfing in the heat and boating, and I'm flipping a house and I've got more energy. So I tried a lot of different things in my journey. I can't say this worked and had that result because it was more a shotgun effect. I was desperate, um, but I don't think the medication had a big impact on my course of the disease, and certainly had a negative impact on my body and my mind and my health. So maybe there's a silver lining in there that, with enough curiosity and, you know, work and experimentation, you can come up with a set of things that work for you. I never would have believed how much better I could feel by moving weight, working out in a gym, and actually pushing myself. And within a month, I was starting to feel better. And I never would have believed that. I didn't even believe that was possible 2 years ago, to go back into the gym and work out hard. So there's a lot of things I've learned along the way, and it's what worked for me. But it's not just about finding the right medication. There's a lot of things that you can do. It's your body, it's your mind. You get the immediate feedback, listen to it, and keep doing things that make you feel a little better, and stop doing things if you think they're making you worse. Get outside every day, move, even if you feel like crap, because that will help your immune system move it around. Your immune system isn't like your heart and your blood system. Your immune system circulates when you move. And if you're not moving, it's sitting there kind of stagnant, and that's not a good thing for your immune system. So just getting your heart rate up a little bit, I started walking like, a quarter of a mile
You
and a half.
know,
Just keep moving.
I'm trying, but I
Yep.
have neurosarc, and so my feet just hurt. And I used to be a big walker. I used to bike and do stuff, and I do push myself to do it, but it is so, I'm sorry, so fucking unpleasant. I'm like I said, I do it, and the Tai Chi does make me feel a little better. You can, if you're doing it right, you do, like, you sweat,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm just like, I miss it. And so I was thinking about it. So it's not, for me, it's not just ambiguous grieving, but it's also um
Specific things.
intermittent or surprise grief, like things that I didn't realize I had lost,
Hmm.
or like coping strategies, some of which are unhealthy. And so, like, now that I'm back at work, like, people are pissing me off. I'm looking at documents that are, making me mad. And I tried to stop relying on chocolate. I stopped drinking because I'm on, these drugs. And what I used to do is if I went to a meeting that I knew was going to make me mad, I would go for it because I live near my campus is near a park. I would block out a time and go for a bike ride. And
Mm.
now I can't go for the bike ride. So I got this stack of stuff I have to read. I'm like, what can I do? Because I can't just sit here and read this without losing my damn mind. So it was just like it. So I was already mad, and then I had all of this like, oh, all my other little stuff I used to do. Go out for friends of mine. We'd go for a cocktail and have a dramatic reading of the bullshit they put in front of us. But.
Okay, this is a perfect segue.
That's how I felt. It's like the carpet rips out from under you. You just lose everything that used to make you happy.
And
I used to play soccer. That's why
exactly,
I
this is
mentioned.
what my therapist like. Well, what do you makes you happy? I'm like, you know what makes me happy, and most of it I can't do it anymore. I have to find other things,
Yeah.
and I know that. But
Who
you
moved your
still
cheese?
the stuff, so yeah.
So I
Are you
And
want to
familiar
then
with the
read.
also
book?
if you're dealing with multiple illnesses, Abby, because it feels like to me, I feel like okay, I learned to deal with the one thing, but damn, now I got this other thing, and they're kind of
Exactly.
yeah,
I get you.
it's a mess.
So I want to
I'm
read
sorry to
something from my
interrupt you,
book.
Dee.
That
That's
sounds
it's
like a
okay.
great idea, Regina. What would you like to read?
Which page?
It's called "Say Something."
Mm.
Hey there. Good morning. Are you enjoying your stay? I think it is time we have a conversation. So listen up, you crazy thing. I feed you faithfully every day. Once a week, I change you. I throw out the old and start anew. Complaining is not your forte. You are my companion for my internal explosions. You bait your breath and release your essence. I plug my nose. Oh God, not again. Together, we do this on a daily basis. The pecan cake and the barbecue ribs, did you enjoy? How was the mail and the news I gave you? Did you enjoy reading it? I did at one time or another. I spilled my insides on you and you said nothing. You just stood there and accepted it. Silence. Well, are you going to say something or just continue to be silent? Sometimes you are just plain foul and need a bath. Not once have I heard you say thank you. Shall I give you another feast? Will you say thank you or just open wide? Why do you stare at me every day? Walking by you makes me wonder what's on your mind. Can you smell me? Do you want more to eat? Say something. Next week will be the same. Shall we start again? Me feeding you, you opening wide. What smells will you give off this week? What do you want to eat? To read? Will you continue to be silent? This conversation is between you and me. Say something. Don't just stare. I continue to hurl my insides into the trash can.
Mm. That last line, man. Ugh.
Every day. That's what it was like. Every day. And then the prompt for that is called Get It All Out. So that's what it was like when a few years ago when I was so sick and in and out of the hospital. All I was doing was just throwing up on a consistent basis. On a consistent basis. I mean, it was like non-stop. And I lived by the trash can, and or I walked by the trash
Mm.
can, or I had a trash can right next to me. I mean, it was just nonstop. And this thing popped in my head one day at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't stop writing. And that's what I came up with. That's like when I read it to my daughter, she thought I was talking about a man.
Yeah.
What smells are you going to give off today?
What was to say? Ooh.
I mean, it did keep a little bit of a mystery, didn't it?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so
Regina, just listening to you, I got how healing it was for you to write it out. I believe that. I've had numerous people over the years to, nudge me towards journaling. And I journaled a lot when I was really sick. And I've been doing it less so now, but it really helps to put it on paper because it's like you're getting out of your mind where it's sitting there rattling around and causing all kinds of trouble. And you put it on the paper and you can leave it there. You can always go back and get it. But that act of putting it on the paper gets it out of your head.
hmm
And so having that as an exercise, I think, is pulling on best practice from, a lot of different people that I've interacted with over the years. So
I used to write.
more fuel for make it a class, get people in it, and get the feedback, and then tweak it. And it could be your call. It could be your next mountain to climb. And
I used to work in the
maybe,
English department at the college. I loved
Oh,
to write. Writing was like the only thing that I said, like, especially when I was a teenager and I had bipolar and I wasn't diagnosed. I was like, the only thing that kept me from killing myself was my writing. And now I'm too swollen to write. So there goes like the one thing I loved. Do you go by Kim or Professor Hall? I just heard when I came in late, you were talking about teaching.
I'm not your professor, so I'm Kim.
Okay, Kim. Well, some people, I mean, obviously you work very hard on your degree, so people with masters and doctorate, they're like, call me by what I work for. And I'm
No,
like,
when I go
understood.
to a doctor's office, I make them call me professor. I feel like they need to take me seriously, but but
you
not like
go.
friends and whatnot. So,
Yep.
but, but I'm sorry, you were going to ask something?
Yeah, oh, I was gonna say, because you're talking about the things that you love that you just got ripped out from under you. Was writing one of those? Did you ever have to go through that?
Okay, here's the thing. Because I'm listening to Regine and I'm listening to Kevin. I was never a journaler. I never, even when I was a kid, I didn't write poetry. I didn't do any of that. So for me, writing was always work, and I always had to force myself to do it. And actually, before I got diagnosed, one of my goals was to make myself into a writer, so that I would have a daily writing practice. And I actually did do it, but not now because also the brain fog.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was a big reader, and I find it very hard to keep track of stuff. I mean, just to focus. And I feel
Yeah.
like I have focus. I got to put it to work and whatnot. And so yeah. So I have not. I bought a bullet journal. So like, okay, I'm gonna try at least to do that, organize myself. But yeah, no, it's a problem. I was able to. I also have like neuropathy, but and I think I don't. I think the group. I think the last time I was in this group was when I started growing crazy, out of control cataract. So I also couldn't see because of the prednisone.
Mm.
So from Halloween until the new year, between Halloween when I was like, oh, my vision's a little blurry, even with the glasses on, to the new year when I had to get software installed on my computer to read stuff to me because I couldn't even see the computer at its biggest thing. So it's been like I feel like every time I turn around, there's some like craziness that happens. But to get back to your point, so I one of the things I do is quilt, and but with the neuropathy I was actually almost afraid to I was anxious because I couldn't bear the idea that I couldn't sit at the sewing machine. You know what I mean? Because and I ran in I there's a woman who teaches online courses, and um her technique doesn't require a lot of precision. And so I signed up for the class, and I sent her a private note saying, "Look, I might not sew at all because I don't know what's going to happen when I sit in the sewing machine. My foot, I can't feel the pedal do too well, and I can't hold things. But I learned something. So so it was good. I'm trying to experiment with things. I think the Harriet Tubman quilt I just finished will be the last kind of precise kind of thing that I'll try to do. But it's hard. I also a friend of mine, she wrote her whole book dictating everything.
Mm.
And with there's such amazing transcription possibilities even on your
You can
phone.
on your
you know
phone. The phone's the most amazing transcription
yeah.
device ever.
So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I don't know what you have access to, Abby, but I wonder if you like if what would like one of the things I have my students do when we I have the Shanghai class is so they have to write little things about what we're reading just to kind of keep it, keep going with it. And then
Right.
um, and at a midpoint in the semester, I give them all colored pencils and markers and whatnot. And I'm like, I want you to go through and read what you wrote and just highlight take choose your colors and highlight a thing that you wish you'd rewritten highlight. So it's a whole thing. But I'm wondering if you had access, like if you could dictate, print it out, and then maybe go back when you feel like in a little bit better space, or at least have you in your head, oh, I might go back to this. And just and they color on it. They just it's a different way of interacting with your words, and it really helps for the students who have like writer's block and who are anxious about editing and that kind of thing. So sometimes they cut it up and make collages.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Yes, it's but for I have a hard time with the dictation, because for me the writing, and probably for you too, the writing is very tactile, even if it's
Yeah.
on a keyboard. And so I'm like, I don't understand how to write if I'm just talking.
It's
Yeah.
different.
And
But
then I
it's
just
very
gave
What,
up.
what you
I was
type
like,
and what
it's
you say.
I don't care
Yeah.
anymore. I give up because it was like as soon as it was like, oh, can't write anymore. I didn't even think about like dictation. I just went, I give up. I don't care. Like I'm dead inside. I don't care. Like I was so angry and so frustrated because it was like
I'm
this.
still
there's
old school. I have to write it down on paper still. I can't type when people are talking. I can't type and listen to somebody talk. I can't do that.
I have to do
That's
paper
too hard
too.
for me.
Mhm.
I'm a paper person.
Me too. And
And
then the
that's why me
pencil
and my
got
boss
too
are
hard
in
to
trouble
hold.
with each other now. So yeah.
but it feels like that you also need something to take your anger out on, or to express it, that's not taking it out on yourself.
I
Can
wouldn't
you
know it. I used to be an athlete. That's how I used to.
oh,
And now
but
I hurt and I just lay in bed. And I'm like, I don't. You see what I mean? I'm still working
no,
through.
I
I
know,
have movies that I know.
I don't think I hurt as much as you, but yes, yesterday I just like I hurt so much. I don't want to get like I feel better when I'm laying down, and the minute my feet hit the floor, just it hurts. And it's and I was telling my therapist, I said, look, a lot of my willpower in my life has been like on my career and on trying not to like eat myself silly. And so it is hard now. Like all of my willpower now is to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels like cosmically unfair to have to put that much energy into something that you used to do every day.
Yeah.
Um, and it's I don't know. I'm older, right? And I'm not even, if I was as young as you, I don't can't even imagine how I would feel. I mean, I'm not old. I'm just gonna say that, but um, it I was able to do things, and I was sick for 20. We're guessing about 20 years before I actually got diagnosed, but I was still able to do things. So it's fair to be angry, um, and it's
Can
fair to grieve, I think.
Right. Kim, when was you diagnosed?
Girl,
Well, I
2020.
was diagnosed in 1994, so I was just curious.
I have a spread a 15-year spreadsheet of tests and whatnot. I've been telling doctors that something was wrong with me um since 2004.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got diagnosed in July. Sorry, that's why I think I'm still going through the thing. I talked to Regina about that. They said when this disease affects primarily black women, that they were sick for so long that nobody was like listening, and then they put the research into it. So is that the spreadsheet? It's because they just weren't listening.
They weren't listening, and I'm like, I need to. And I was going to different, luckily I've been able to work and be in assurance, and I was like, okay, I'm just collecting all this data, and somebody is going to freaking listen to me. But and the month before New York, I finally found an internist who I said, look, my symptoms are very vague, but something is wrong. And you people keep telling me to lose weight. I moved apartments so I could be 3 blocks from a gym. I said, it doesn't make sense that I can take a kickboxing class on a Monday and not be able to get out of bed and go to work on a Thursday. So there's something wrong that's not about my weight. And I had lost 85 pounds. So, and that was like, I had a whole narrative that I would give doctors. And I was like, okay, here are the things I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear change my job unless you're going to support me. I don't want to hear I'm depressed unless you talk to my therapist. I don't like, I can't hear any more of this. I was so angry. And I finally found an internist. She said, look, the next time you have what seems to be a flare up, let me know. I will refer you out. And she referred me to a rheumatologist and a neurologist. And a friend of mine at work has MS. And for like months, she's like, I don't know, girl, I think you got MS. And so the neurologist says, I'm going to send you for some MRIs. And she said, you know, you might have MS, but it would be the weirdest kind of MS I've ever seen. So I'm gonna send you to a specialist and blah blah blah. I was in the hospital 4 times that year, and when she told me that, when she referred me to the specialist who sent me for more MRIs, and then said, I'm not sure what it is, but we need more tests, and then New York City shut down,
Oh,
and then that was it for months until like she sent me to the emergency room and they wouldn't even they wouldn't touch my MRI CDs because at the time nobody knew what you could get it from and whatnot.
right.
Um, and then I finally got diagnosed, and then they didn't tell me about the foods I should be avoiding on these medications, so I got listeria. And when I was in the hospital with the listeria, this doctor comes in and says, well, you haven't seen me, and I've got something kind of, that's going to be come out of left field. I said, look, dude, at this point, if you tell me there are baby ducks growing in my colon, I'm kind of going to roll with it because like, everything. What the hell? And then he said,
And out come the baby
you have
duck.
an organic heart condition that they caught when they did your lung scan. So I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? So anyway, that was a long answer to your how did you get diagnosed question. But yeah, so I have a whole and and I've had multiple things. Like I had fibroids, which are very common in black women. Not one doctor was, said, hey, how about fibroids? That's why you're bleeding to death. So I had with that experience had to become a like big advocate. But it's exhausting. You're tired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you're
and
tired
And
and
Regina
you
should
got to
team
do
up.
research and
working right,
prep.
and these doctors are, um, so yeah, it's they you have to fight when you're sending sick people into battle. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept telling me all I had was allergies. And I'm telling you what, when I got to the ER, I was almost on my deathbed. I
Well,
wind up having pneumonia.
Jesus.
I was thinking,
Thank
like,
you.
it was a joke that I said you guys should team up, but like that would actually be kind of fierce. because you have this massive portfolio of all the symptoms that you started exhibiting as a black woman when nobody was listening. Regina's got all this. I mean, I'm white. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about, but I just think like that kind of like that's so powerful. Are you kidding? It's for women and especially black women. Like it'd be kind of fierce, but I think that's like a whole portfolio. That's kind of like top tier, like burn to the doctor.
Yeah, I got so many things to say to all these, freaking doctors and whatnot. I have to say though, the woman, the specialist who was she was an MS specialist, she had me check in with her every day during the shutdown. We texted or emailed. She said, "I just need to know you're all right. I'm working on trying to get somebody who's going to do what do you call it, the thing in your back when they're taking fluid from your back,
Lumbar puncture.
lumbar puncture, because nobody would do a lumbar puncture." And she said we have to have it because and and yeah, she was incredible. And I was like, okay, this is my reparations for all those shitty doctors I have. Not shitty. I mean, my brother's a doctor, and one of the things that he said, he goes, look, we like to think we know everything, but realistically, we have a limited diagnostic capability. And once you get beyond that, we don't know what, nobody trains us on what to do. And he listened to my appointments, and I would use him to get more attention from doctors and whatnot. But yeah, but it's true. I mean, and I had one doctor when I was really young who was like, who read a lot and kept up on stuff, and I'm like, God, I wish I had her when this all happened. But that was in a different city, different time. But it's true that they don't want to say I don't know. Their fallback is, oh, diet and whatnot. And the cardiologist who discovered the heart condition, and I said, well, wait a minute, all these years they've been telling me that this was all because of my weight, and I've been like, he said, no, you can't diet your way out of this, and you can't, he said, you should keep up with a good diet, but it was not going to change anything.
Right.
Regina, didn't you say that happened to you too? They were like, oh, it's your weight. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that.
No, they just kept. I was skinny. I was, but I kept losing weight. I was already a healthy person. I was like, I was a bike rider. I was a walker. I mean, I was already a healthy person. You see what I'm
Oh, that was
saying?
after the prednisone. That's what happened.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
that.
exactly. The prednisone sent me like this. And that's
Hmm.
why I'm chunky now, because I've never been able to lose the weight because I've been on every treatment protocol there is. And now I'm on the Remicade. And
I'll
Remicade,
say,
I'm going to tell you, it's my joy juice. It's
I
my
think
joy
we're on
juice.
this. Yes, yeah, it's a miracle.
Yes,
Um,
it sure is. And speaking of miracles, I'm getting my joy juice tomorrow.
So I didn't know. There's a sarcoidosis support group that started up a few months ago, out of the hospital for special surgery here in New York.
Hmm.
And I went to a couple sessions. They had a rheumatologist who works on sarcoid, and I was like, oh wait, now some of this is making sense. So I did not. I don't know why I didn't know that prednisone is the only FDA approved treatment for sarcoidosis, and that's why like we're always fighting. I'm like, well shit, why didn't somebody tell me that? I would have not did it. I would have understood a
You've
little
been
bit more
prepared.
about why.
Look, I can never take prednisone again because prednisone sent me to the ER with a DKA. Now, look, I've never ever been a diabetic. I'm still not one today, but it sent me to the emergency room and sent me to a hospital stay for 3 weeks.
Oh, Jesus.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah,
on.
Me too.
I
I had.
can't take steroids. That's why I'm on. That is why I am on Remicade today.
Huh. Um,
Yep.
I was on prednisone from the time I was 7 until the time I was 7 until I was 18 for asthma. And then when I turned 25, I was like, I am never taking prednisone again. Go see how that does me. But um, so part of why I've been overweight all my life is I was on prednisone for most of my childhood and young adulthood. Um, But my poor mother.
Well,
Yeah.
like this past October, so when I found out I had sarcoid, I did a DNA ancestry, and
Okay.
then I did it back in like 2014 because I needed to know where I get this from because I didn't get it from my I wasn't sure if I got it on my mother's side or if I got it on my father's side, and we didn't know of anybody on my mother's side who had it. So I did my DNA through Ancestry, and then I did a health one through Ancestry, and then I'm in a trial with 23andMe. I did the 23andMe. I'm on there doing one
Oh,
of their clinical trial things. So, but it's just one where you answer questions. I did the saliva thing, but you still in a 2-year trial. And so I did that one. But then this past October, because of something Ancestry did to their website, how they rearranged everything, I remember back in 2014, I put my phone number out there because I was trying to reach my
okay.
father's family.
Oh,
Somebody called me or hit me up, sent me an email, and asked and said, "Do you need Uncle Johnny's phone number?" I said no because I finally had got the number. And me and another cousin had finally got a hold of each other because he was looking for his mother because he found out he was adopted. Long story short, we crashed a funeral in 2017. We did.
Crash the funeral.
and
Wedding
and
crash, funeral crashers. Good
and went
movie.
and met our family. We met our family, and they were happy to see us because this was my father's only living brother left, and he was happy to see me. And so we met, and then in October of this past year, I got a phone call. And I said, "Well, you can call." Got that email. I said, "Well, you can call me." So I gave her my phone number, and she called me. Lo and behold, we were already friends on Facebook, literally. And
that's
so
so wild.
I asked her. I said, "I need to ask. I put my number out there. I need to ask. You know, I have sarcoid, and she knows this because she's been following me all these years."
Wow.
I said, "Where in the world did this come from?" Because I put it out there because I needed to know. She said, "Well, I'm just going to tell you right now that on the Gordon side of the family, the immune system is jacked up." And that there, that's what she said. And she said that there is one other person in our family that has sarcoid.
Wow.
And my lip about fell on the ground. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me!" Because I said we have been trying to figure out where this come from. So, to, I was born with pneumonia, born with it.
Holy
Yes,
Moses.
yes. So I will be say I can say it's safe to say when they diagnosed me with sarcoid, I had pneumonia. I'm going to be safe to say that I believe I was born with sarcoid. I almost am sure that I was born with it.
Well, it exhibits similar to ammonia.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you're having breathing problems and
When
inflammation,
I was
it
a
would,
kid, when I was
for a
born,
baby, it's, oh, you got pneumonia. We'll give you something and move on. So,
yes, and then it probably was in remission all those years until I hit something, wherever I wasn't supposed to be or where I was supposed to be, and it just was something in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yep.
Abby,
So,
yeah, so I mean, th- one of the things I wish, well, you can't revisit the past. So I had an aunt who had, the only reason I'd ever heard the word sarcoidosis is that she had pulmonary sarcoidosis. And now, given how many Black women I've met or come across who had trouble getting diagnosed, I want to know how a Black woman who cleaned houses on Long Island in the 70s got diagnosed. evidently one of the people
Wow.
whose houses she cleaned sent her to, because I talked to my cousin. I said, do you remember when your mother went away? And he's like, oh yeah, they sent me to North Carolina to stay with Mudale, and she went to the Will Rogers Institute in the early 70s, and that's how they
Wow.
diagnosed it. Because I remember growing up, she would clutch her chest. She go, "Oh, this sarcoid got me," and I was like a kid. And I'm like, "What is this sarcoid?" This like, I thought it was like some kind of animal. It was like all over. But I'm just and with all that, even when I had all of that in my family history and we presented to people, nobody said, "Oh," and I didn't know there were different types of sarcoidosis.
Hmm.
And one of the things about family history, like I told doctor, I said, look, my family grew up in the middle of nowhere with a doctor that I call a Butcher Bolton, and nobody got diagnosed with anything proper. My grandmother, my mother's mother died, of breast cancer. The doctor told her she was hunting too much, and that was why she had the irritation in her breast. She died at 54. So I said, I have no family medical history that is remotely reliable.
Yeah.
Because old people in the South, they die young. Nobody, they have an idea about why they went blind or why they died, but it's not real. It's not real. Like I thought, my I was told that two of my great uncles went blind because they worked on the railroad, and it turns out they probably had glaucoma. So it's yeah, my the new internist I had said to me, she goes, girl, if you'd been living back where your parents grew up, you'd be dead by now.
And they would have thought it
Mm-mm.
was pneumonia.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I don't know what the neurosarc, what
But but
yeah.
you know what? And so like the Europeans that come across here, I wonder how they're doing across the way.
There's a lot of sarcoidosis in Europe.
in
There's,
like in the Scandinavian countries,
Yeah,
right? Is it?
but
Scandinavian.
that doesn't
The
mean there's a
difference is
higher
they're white,
incidence.
Yeah.
so they get
There's so
more
much
attention.
sarcoidosis in the Scandinavian countries because there's mandatory military service, which
And they
involves
scream.
a chest X-ray at 18. And that's when they
Ah,
find.
wow.
Really?
Yep. But there's also a genetic part. So when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, they found it in my finger. I had a
Oh
lump in my
no,
finger.
come on now. In your
Yeah,
finger?
in my right ring finger, and the only reason I did anything about it is because it was interfering with my golf game. Well, this has got to go. So I went to see a hand specialist who biopsied it, and he said it was like pulling spaghetti out of my tendon sheath. And he got as much as he could out, but I still had this big pocket of it in my palm. And the biopsy came back as sarcoidosis, and he's like, "No, try again." And it came back again. So he's like, "I don't know what to tell you, but you got to see a lung specialist." So I did. I got a bronchoscopy, and it was confirmed. And we went back to the history. I have no family history of it. All my misbehaving and bad choices, none of that had any bearing on it, and they didn't know where it came from.
The
Not that it
the reason
matters.
I mentioned race is because I was diagnosed the same way. Like I was like, oh, whatever, and then they were like, oh, your lungs are infiltrated completely. So it was like kind of an accident. Like I was feeling crappy, but I didn't say anything. Versus Kim and Regina had to fight, fight, fight just to get somebody to listen to them. Like
Yeah,
when they already knew something was wrong. That was the difference. What I was saying, like white
Yeah.
people and black women,
right.
or white women and black women. That's the difference.
And the thing is,
This
it doesn't have to be weight. Like, I went in when I lost the, ability to kind of raise my arm. The doctor said, you're getting older. I'm like, I'm fucking 45 years old. I know 90-year-old people who can lift their arm. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
we could write books on medical gaslighting,
It
and
is,
it's
yeah,
terrible. It's
it's,
terrible.
I'd read it.
so,
That's
so Abby,
history.
I feel like because I'm gonna have to jump off in a minute. I feel like I want to, I don't know, what can we do to support you or to, um, uh,
Oh, me?
yeah, yeah, I'm looking at
It's
you.
been great just talking. Like I feel, oh, I've been circling the drain, babe. But um, I can, like, Kevin has my email, Regina has my email. If you want it, I can send it, but I have to remember it. Not these
I
days.
know, girl, don't worry about it. I just, I didn't want to jump off, and you're still. I mean, obviously, it's an ongoing struggle, but if
Yeah.
but honestly, about the food, I'm not lying. I bought a bag of walnuts and put it by my bed.
I
So,
do love
like,
walnuts.
I just eat a handful because I'm like, I don't feel like getting up and cooking. I don't feel
In
like
other words, what she's saying is you need to put some nutrition in your body.
yes, I'm
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I being that person. I know you're not hungry.
But it also, I
and
mean,
don't
not
follow
eating
Regina's lead and grab a bag of chips. I'm
a
just
bag of
saying.
chips. I
But
mean,
it doesn't, and because it doesn't, the
Unless it
walnuts,
makes you feel
they don't
better,
go,
then
they
that
don't
could
go
be a good thing.
stale. It's not like my preference would be like, something, whatever. But like nuts don't go stale.
yeah. As
They,
things
Right.
they
chronically
don't
ill,
go no
people think they're
mold.
like, a hand of walnuts, good enough, because it's better than nothing at all, which is what I will do.
Yes,
You know,
that
that's
is.
If it
chronically ill
makes you
people.
if it makes you feel any better, Kevin, on the side of my bed I have some trail mix, okay? And it's healthy trail
There you
mix.
go. Yeah. See, some dark chocolate and nuts.
There you go. I
Um,
love me some
you
dark
know,
chocolate.
that I do too. So I have to say, I also recommend. I had this was hibiscus tea with frozen watermelon. Love it.
Is
Ooh.
that from Starbucks?
No,
Looks like a Starbucks
that
cup.
that at one point was iced coffee, but I don't throw the cups away. So I
Oh,
just when
gotcha.
I got home, I keep a jug of hibiscus tea in the refrigerator. So when I ran in to get something to eat, I poured it in my one of my cups that I save.
Abby, do you like tea?
Yeah,
Do you drink tea?
not
You can
lately,
put some
but yeah.
turmeric and cinnamon in tea, and it makes it anti-inflammatory, and it helps to coat
American
your
cinnamon?
stomach. Turmeric is really good for you.
I've
Yes.
never heard of that.
Oh
I
yeah.
hide
My
turmeric in everything.
when I went to the orthopedic surgeon about my knee problem, I was really nervous because I'm like, I'm not having any kind of surgery. And she's like, no, we need to try turmeric first. And it's, yeah. So
Okay,
That
now I'm
was
gonna
one of
ask
the.
about that. What kind of turmeric you use for the knee? Because I'm not trying to have knee surgery either. I know this is not, and I have joint, I have sarcoid in my joints, and I'm not trying to have surgery.
yeah. As far as we know, this is not sarcoid, but it is inflammatory. Because I was like,
Yes.
one doctor said, "Oh my God, you need to see an orthopedic surgeon right away," and the other's like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you." And so she was like, so she did not give me a specific turmeric. My brother, the orthopedic surgeon, he bought me from Costco a liquid turmeric.
Is a salve or something you drink?
You drink. I take a shot of it.
Oh,
And then for when I went on a trip. I took turmeric bromelain uh, capsules.
oh. So there's
But
nothing like you could put like directly on it.
no, no.
Ugh.
I just
Okay.
Sorry,
use
I know
I use
that
a
would be
shaker
better,
of it.
right? So
I'll put it in food. I'll put it in my shakes. I'll put it
yeah.
in tea.
It's one of the few Indian spices that I don't really care for, but the liquid when I don't, it doesn't it's not that
It will
bad.
make everything yellow.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, no. It's just the flavor. There's something like dusty about it. I don't
Well,
know. But
I like Indian food though.
no,
It's
I
delicious.
love Indian food, but something about
Hmm.
the shot of turmeric. But the shot I take is not that bad, and I love cinnamon, so I just like cinnamon. Also, put cinnamon in water. Like keep like a jar of a tumble of water and put cinnamon in it and sip on it. That's
Well,
enough.
they need to make a turmeric salve so you can put something right on the spot, like to
No,
see right
no.
into the area.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
so but it seems to be helping. I also got one of those. My brother told me to get one of those pillows that you put between your legs when because I sleep on my side and
Ooh, I
I
think I'm gonna talk to my daughter and see what she can do because my daughter makes oils and stuff. So,
yeah, why don't you look?
Yeah.
hmm.
You got two good business ideas right
Yeah.
here
I was gonna say,
tonight.
open up a business just like the Turmeric Palace, and you just everything's turmeric.
That's
I'm
the
in.
That's gonna be her
Talk to
West
next
your
book.
Virginia,
daughter. She can
I'd
make
buy it.
the oils.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask my daughter to see if she can make some turmeric oil and I could just place right on my knee.
Yeah.
If you do that, let
Mhm.
me know how that goes, because my big fat knuckles would like to know too.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I am going to ask her. Mm.
Have you tried CBD salve, which is really expensive?
I do. I actually have
I do too.
some.
I used
I
to.
do have some oils for that,
Mhm.
and I do use that. I found a lady via TikTok, and I really like her oil. But now that you talk about the turmeric, I'm wondering if I can
There might
get
be.
some
I just didn't look for a
and
salve.
mix it.
My brother
Yeah.
said here, this is what I use, and so I just use. There might be. You should, definitely ask your daughter
Yeah,
because,
I want to check and see if there's something I can mix with it. Maybe that could be
yeah,
my ultimate potion.
because I have seen the turmeric and the CBD mixed in tincture, so there's got to be, somebody has invented it. So
Pat, any idea? Advertise it in your class, in your sarcoidosis class you're teaching. Boom. It'll be great. Raging fan base. So many customers. I'll be the first customer.
yeah,
Hey, I'm all about making money.
there you go.
Show me the money.
Making
Gotta have
money and
that
helping
retirement
people.
plan.
Heaven.
Yeah.
So I got to jump off because I got to make a phone call. It was so nice to see everybody. I
Came
appreciate
Yeah.
great seeing you
No,
again.
it.
it's nice.
They
I
meet
hope to
you.
see you again.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you, Abby. So hopefully I'll be on next month.
All
All
right.
right.
All
We'll
right.
Bye.
send you an email.
Okay, great. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Well, Abby, where'd she go? Oh,
She's still
you
here.
can barely
Yeah,
see
it
you.
got dark.
Well,
But I'm
Abby, I'm
here.
just going to say I hope your days get better, and I hope that you feel much better, and that whatever is going on with your hands, I hope the swelling goes down and soon. And I think you're on the road to recovery. And it's going to take some time, but I think you're on the road to recovery.
Yeah, it's like ups and downs. Like, yeah, I think it was Kim. She was like, I can work out on Monday, and then on Thursday I'm crying in bed. Can't get out of bed.
Yep.
Might be one of those things, but
That happens to all of us. I've had an up and down week too, and it's my week has been more down this week. But you know what? You got to work through it. You have to, because if you don't learn how to work through it, you're never going to get through it. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
You got to want to do it, and you can't just mope around the house either. And you got to get out, go enjoy some sunshine.
Yep. Sunshine's a great stimulant for your body, your energy. It helps you sleep better. It just does a lot of good.
Hmm.
yeah. I have to go on a walk. I've been like sleeping like 3 hours a night, so then I talk myself into, oh, I don't want to go on a walk. I'm tired. But you're right. In the back of my
I
head,
do.
I'm like, this isn't right. You can't just stay
Just
in the
do it.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy some fresh weather, take a walk, even if it hurts, because I do.
Before it's wintertime. It's not so nice.
Indiana winters.
Exactly.
Oh, you Florida
Yeah,
people like, oh,
Indiana weather is
it's icy.
terrible, Kevin.
So in
Especially in the
Florida,
winter.
it's been like 96 degrees every day for the last 30, 60, 90, probably 100 days. We've had maybe
Yeah, my
2
mom
days
lives in Tampa,
to
and
get
she
to
said
the
that.
90s. It's been
Oof.
brutal.
Mm-mm.
That's why God made air conditioning.
It says it's 65 here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the fall up there.
I
I
Oh,
love fall weather.
They
yep.
say what
Leaves.
sarcoidosis hates the most is extreme heat, extreme cold. So
Yep.
best of both worlds.
Mine loves the cold. When I do cryotherapy, and that's been helping me a lot. So you're saying your fingers are swollen? Get a
Oh, they're
bowl of ice
huge.
water. Stick them in the ice water for as long as you can. 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. and then do that several times a day and see if it makes a difference. It's something you can do.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything, just some ice, and put your face in it because your vagus nerve is here, and all that negative energy that all starts to like get in that vagus nerve, and that's where everything gets communicated up from your body and down to your body. Getting that calmed down, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, your face in ice water. It. I used to do it every morning when I got up. I just kind of soak my whole body.
Interesting. That's why I love like talking to you and Regina. So you always have things that I wouldn't think of. Like go on a walk, you have to. Do the ice water, you have to. I would never have thought of that. When you're so stuck in this, like you're alone, right? But then you guys are like, oh, you should do this, and I'm like, genius. Didn't even think about that.
Well, that's when you get out of your head and into communication with people, things happen. So don't be a stranger.
You guys are great. I'm sorry, I don't mean Regina. You look like you're about to fold in half. Sorry, like you're hardly
I'm about ready to hit the floor too. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, Regina hasn't had much sleep either. I've been up half the night too. We do have our sleepless nights too.
yeah.
I'm just serious. We do. But
The last couple of nights for me have been bad too. So
yeah,
that plus all the work.
I've had nights too. So, and last night was one of them. So,
Yeah.
and I haven't had any dinner. So, and these chips just wasn't it.
Oh my goodness.
Now you're hangry.
It's like pitch black in my room now. Okay, I'll let
I
you
gotta
guys
get
go.
something to eat.
Right.
I'm gonna go eat some green beans for dinner.
Yeah,
Chips and
I'm
green
gonna
beans.
find some
Perfect.
kind of. I
Well,
bought some
that's what's in the.
grapes.
It's made and it's in the refrigerator. I don't have energy to do anything else.
I bought grapes and strawberries, so I've got to get some fruit in me. I had
Yeah.
cantaloupe earlier today, so I got to get some more fruits in me.
That's fierce. Well, it was nice seeing you.
All right, don't be
Same
a stranger.
here.
Okay. Bye.
Work
Bye
on your
bye.
spirit. Be positive. Get outside. Well, great seeing you. Keep up with everything.
I know.
Take care of yourself.
You too.
See you
I'm
in a
going to
month.
bed.
I'm right behind you.
You take care, Kevin.
Always a pleasure, Regina.
All
Best of
right.
luck.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye bye.